to the Todd County Board of Commissioners regular board meeting. Today is Tuesday, August 3rd. The time is 9 a.m. All board members are present along with the auditor, treasurer, and the coordinator. We will stand for the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are there any amendments to the agenda?
I have none, Madam Chair.
If not, I will ask for a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Erickson, is there a second?
Second.
Second, Newman. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed and carried. Denise?
Potential consent items today are meeting minute approval for July 20th, 2021. Long Prairie Lions one-day temporary on-sale liquor license. That's only a date correction from the last time they applied a couple weeks ago. They just had the wrong date on it. And the resignation of Nicholas Miller, Correctional Officer, 7/31/2021.
Okay, hearing the consent items, is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Motion by Kircher, is there a second?
Second.
Second, Kneisel. Discussion? Hearing no discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed and carries.
First item today under the auditor treasurer category is auditor warrants. Background was sent for review. Recommendation is to approve the July 2021 auditor warrants with an ACH and a regular manual payment totaling in the amount of $1,527,378.95.
Okay, is there a motion for the approval of the auditor warrants?
So moved.
Motion by Kneisel, second by
Second.
Newman. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, we'll do roll call.
Commissioner Kneisel?
Yes.
Commissioner Newman?
Yes.
Commissioner Erickson?
Yes.
Commissioner Kircher?
Yes.
Commissioner Becker?
Yes.
The next item I have is the commissioner warrants. Background was sent for your review. Recommendation is to approve the commissioner warrants with an ACH and a regular manual payment totaling in the amount of $148,672.28.
Is there a motion for the commissioner warrants?
So moved.
Motion by Erickson, second.
Second.
Second by Newman. Discussion? Otherwise, we will do roll call.
Commissioner Erickson?
Yes.
Commissioner Newman?
Yes.
Commissioner Kneisel?
Yes.
Commissioner Kircher?
Yes.
Commissioner Becker?
Yes.
The next item is the Health and Human Service Commissioner warrants. Background was sent for review. Recommendation is to approve the Health and Human Service Commissioner warrants with an ACH and a regular manual payment totaling in the amount of $17,392.08.
Okay, is there a motion for the Health and Human Services Commissioner warrants?
So moved.
Motion by Kircher, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Kneisel. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, we'll do roll call.
Commissioner Kircher?
Yes.
Commissioner Kneisel?
Yes.
Commissioner Erickson?
Yes.
Commissioner Newman?
Yes.
Commissioner Becker?
Yes.
Next item is the Health and Human Service SSIS warrants. Background was sent for review. Recommendation to approve the Health and Human Service SSIS warrants with an ACH and a regular manual payment totaling the amount of $40,714.51.
Okay, we'll have, is there a motion for the Health and Human Services SSIS warrants?
So moved.
Motion by Kneisel, is there a second?
Second.
Second, Newman. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, roll call.
Commissioner Kneisel?
Yes.
Commissioner Newman?
Yes.
Commissioner Erickson?
Yes.
Commissioner Kircher?
Yes.
Commissioner Becker?
Yes.
The last item I have today then would be the transfer of funds for the county ditch inspector hours. Background is the assessment cycle for the county ditch expenses closes annually on June 30th. The tracked hours of the ditch inspectors work is specific ditches is accumulated and requires a transfer as an expense to each ditch system on an annual basis to align with the accounting standards per the county board's past practice and resolution. The recommendation is to approve the attached resolution to transfer $5,355 from Fund 40 County Ditch Fund to Fund 01 General Revenue Fund, County Ditch Inspector's Department, which is the time the ditch inspector worked on these county ditches per the attached list, and it is a budgeted item.
Okay, is there a motion for the transfer of funds for the county ditch inspector hours?
So moved.
Motion by Erickson, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Knizel. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And carries. Nancy?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Got one agenda item this morning. It's County Ditch 41 Lake Shamana Lid Outlet Petition, set date, time, and location for the second hearing. The background, Lake Shamana Improvement District submitted an outlet petition to use County Ditch 41 for their high water outlet project. The first hearing was held June 29th, 2021. The hearing length was long, and there were concerned citizens that were not able to speak. The decision was made to continue the meeting to a future date to allow more time for public comment and to give time for the Ditch Authority to hire a consulting engineer to review the petition and the Lake Shamana Lids engineering data. A date needs to be set for the second hearing. Suggested dates are August 31st or September 1st, 2021. Suggested time is 6 p.m. and possible locations, Todd County Boardroom or Todd County Expo Building. The options are to set a date and time and location, or propose a different date and time and location. And so I'll read the recommendation once you pick the date,
Okay.
time, and location.
For discussion, what do the dates look like?
31st is a Tuesday,
Yep,
and the 1st is a Wednesday.
it's a Wednesday. I'm hearing the time of 6 o'clock works for probably everybody. And I've had a request to use the county boardroom.
Madam Chair, just looking at the attendance that we had at our last public hearing, it might get kind of tight in here, because I think we had over that 60 number of total people.
So go back to the expo.
I think just to allow for space, it would be a better spot to have it.
Discussion, commissioners.
Madam Chair, I'm not in favor of having it down there because it got so uncomfortable. If it's as lengthy as the last time,
And it will be.
yeah, I don't know. I think we've had quite a crowd in here before when we've had other petitions and hearings, haven't we? I mean, they can sit outside and listen too, can't they? Right
Madam
out
Chair,
here
yep,
in the
Commissioner
hallway.
Kircher, we can. We can allow for extra seating in the lobby. We could have overflow into the other meeting rooms. I would probably just maybe be a little cautious too with just the status of the Delta variant. I mean, I would maybe just be a little careful
Oh.
with that. But
Okay, said my piece.
Okay.
We could bring your chair along.
Either day works for me. I don't have anything on my calendar for those 2 days.
Okay. Commissioner Newman,
Same here.
Gary. So would someone like to make a recommendation then? In a form of a motion?
I'll move that we have it the 31st here in the county board room.
Okay, there's been a motion to have it on August 31st, time 6?
Yep.
At the county boardroom. Is there a second? Motion by Kircher. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Newman. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It will be set.
Okay, do you want me to read that into record then?
Okay, do you want to read it into the
Yep,
record?
in the
Yes,
county
Nancy.
boardroom. Okay. Todd County Board of Commissioners approves the following by motion. Acting as ditch authority, set the date of the second County Ditch 41 hearing for August 31st, 2021 at 6 PM. The meeting is to be held at the county boardroom.
Okay, and that was already in a form of motion and voted on up here, so,
All right. Thank you
Okay.
very much.
thank you.
That's the first time me and the coordinator have disagreed, Madam Chair.
Good morning.
Good morning, Lonnie.
Good morning.
I have a couple items this morning. The first one is we have Elizabeth Muchow. She has been a full-time correctional officer with us, and she's requesting to change her employment status from full-time to part-time. That'll be effective August 6th of 2021.
Okay. Is there a motion for the approval of employment statute change for Elizabeth Mucho? Is that,
Muchow, I think is how you pronounce it.
okay.
So moved.
Motion by Erickson, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Knizel. Discussion?
Yes, Madam Chair. What are you gonna do for full-time then?
We have that posted and we have interviews scheduled for next Monday.
Okay.
Okay, any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And carries.
All right, the second item, the Long Prairie Police Department has contacted us and has requested to have a contract with us regarding WatchGuard video redaction, which is their squad and body cam video. We already have the program to complete the redactions on these type of videos, and we also have somebody trained on how to complete the redactions. So we've came to an agreement with them, of contract which would be $50 per hour to complete the redaction of any videos that they would have request. Obviously, the two options are approve the contract with Long Prairie Police Department for redaction, or to not approve the contract with the Long Prairie Police Department. We recommend that we would approve the contract with the Long Prairie Police Department for redaction of their WatchGuard videos.
Okay, is there a motion for the WatchGuard contract with the Long Prairie Police Department?
So moved.
Motion by Kircher, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Newman. Discussion?
Yeah, I do. Lonnie, how did you come up with the $50? Is that
We just looked at the wage of our records lady along with our with benefits.
okay? You think that'll cover everything then?
Yeah, that'll definitely cover it a little above what that
Okay.
would be.
All right, thank you.
And just a little background, we've only had a couple requests since we've started with this video system, but they just wanted something in place prior to them starting with their body cams, which I think they're gonna get purchased by September.
Okay.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing no more discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Deja's not gonna come up, huh? She's gonna just sit in the background.
I had her come just in case there's more questions and for the work session. So, good morning.
Good morning.
Just the one item here this morning, our proposed resource conservationist riparian position. A request has been made to create an additional position for the SWC to focus on the needs of the riparian areas of the county. The position has been reviewed by the personnel committee several times, presented to the SWCD liaison committee and the full SWCD board, and then presented at the 7/2021 work session. This will be posted as a grade 10, and funding for the position will come strictly from grant sources with no impact to the county levy, in alignment with the county SWCD agreement. So the option would be a motion to approve the creation of the proposed position and start the recruiting process, a motion to deny creation of this position or table the item to request additional information. And the recommendation at this time would be to approve creation of the resource conservationist riparian position and begin the recruitment process.
Okay, is there a motion for the resource conservationist?
So moved.
So, a motion by Kircher, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Erickson. Discussion.
Madam Chair, when we got financial implications and we got funding grant source, probably what I would like to see is what this is gonna cost and what the grant, and that it's funded fully by the grant source. That's what I would like to see in the funding when we do something like this.
Okay.
And that could be a little reminder in the future, because really, I would like to know the expenses. I've probably been talked over with the personnel committee, but, and my other question is, how, is this a continuing grant, or?
That would be the goal. Yep, and we have capacity funding and, annual perpetual type grants that this would be pulling out of.
Okay.
It may be that we have, like clean water funds or the One Watershed, One Plan coming that are not that way, but we can still use that to fund these types of positions to maybe take pressure off of those grants at times.
So it is 100% grant funded?
Yep, the salary benefits, all that stuff, will be paid for out of grant fundings.
Thank you.
Then a follow-up question, Adam. What happens if the grants no longer exist?
Well, then we have some tough decisions to make at that point in time.
Okay, so you realize that this position would be...
Yeah, it's permanent with the hopes of being permanent, but realizing that, grants are grants and they may disappear at some point.
Okay. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And it carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Mike Wheelenberg, president of the Todd County Ag Society. I know a few of you, and we're here to talk a little bit about the fair. The Todd County Fair has been one of the longest standing traditions in Todd County. It's been going on for a short 137 years, starting back in 1883. This year took us into uncharted waters after a sheltered-in year of 2020, and everybody knows why that is. The people of Todd County and the surrounding areas proved that they wanted to get out and enjoy life. I believe we hit a record number of spectators at our grandstand shows this year. The people came out for some good family entertainment. New to the 2021 fair, we had axe throwing, which seems to be an upcoming new attraction in the area. And also, we hosted the 2021 State Milking Shorthorn Show during our open class dairy show. The Todd County Fair impacts many local businesses, from the gas and grocery stations to supply stores. How often do you hear of Long Prairie Fleet Supply being sold out of wood shavings? Not very often. At this point in time, we of the Todd County Ag Society currently only host and organize the county fair. We have talked about hosting a late winter or fall demo derby in the future, but nothing has came of that yet. The funds allocated to the Ag Society from Todd County are used for many things. We pay premiums to the 4-H exhibitors and also all the open class exhibitors. Gerhard has a number of the premiums paid out this year.
Just over $9,300 in premiums paid out this year alone.
We pay all the judging fees for the county fair, whether it be for the 4-H or the open class.
Which is just over $5,000 again this year.
If you have been to the fair, we have live music and entertainment. The funds may get used for the music and other entertainment purposes, including our local talent show. And
With the combination of entertainment and talent shows, we're at $8,175.
we also utilize the funds from the county for electric, water, sewer, garbage, phone bills, office supplies, the portable bathrooms that are at the fairgrounds. We have fees that go along with camping license, liquor license, gambling permits. We use the money for event payouts and it also may be used for building, upkeep, or maintenance, just to name a few things. With this allocation from the Todd County Egg Society, we are able to efficiently run the Todd County Fair. Let's do our part to keep the long-standing tradition of the Todd County Fair going for another 100 years. The Todd County Egg Society has in the past few years had an annual raffle to help raise funds. All of the fees paid for camping, exhibitor fees, are rolled back into our account to help with the expenses of hosting the event. The Egg Society members also do a donation drive every year. The money from this can be specifically used for a certain event, or it can be used for a general purpose. This is decided by the company or individual making the generous donation. Do you have a approximate number what we took in this year for donations?
I do not.
You do not? Okay. In the past, we have utilized grants for special projects, but also some grants can be used for cultural diversity or educational activities. We have used these to pay for a Hispanic band and also have had a photographer come in to give a presentation of old barns he has photographed in the past. This current year, we did some much needed repairs and painting to the cattle boards for the expo building. In the past, we have built the addition on the show ring addition on the horse barn, sorry. We have added a big fan and louvers to the expo building to ensure animal safety and comfort. We have built more panels for sheep and goat pens. Just in 2019, the horse barn received a coat of paint to freshen that building up. At this point after the fair, we still have bills coming in for the 2021 fair. I am predicting when all is said and done that 2021 will prove to be a good year for the Todd County Egg Society. This is due to the great people of Todd County and all the surrounding areas for coming out and supporting us. And with all the local things too around, people are coming out and supporting the communities. By a show of hands, how many people in here came out to the fair? Well, Dave, I challenge you to come next year. After all, you are coming out and supporting the youth of Todd County and all our other exhibitors at the fair, all the volunteers that work hard to organize the fair. The youth of Todd County are our future here, so why not come out and enjoy some entertainment, a grandstand show, or eat some fair food and show your support for the upcoming 138th Todd County Fair in 2022. Any questions?
Commissioners, questions,
Yes.
comments?
Yes, Madam Chair. I used to go to the fair quite a bit. My concerns have always been, somebody'd say, well, the grandstand was half full. Well, if you're selling a ticket, you should have an account of how many people are in that grandstand. And that has never happened as long as I can remember. You know, for one person, there should be one ticket. The fair board should say, hey, we had 500 tickets or 500 people in the grandstand. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
There's no accountability there. So when you come back, you know, and we allocate the $20,000, it's like, well, how many people are in the grandstand? They said, well, it was half full. How many people are half full?
Right. And this year I can tell you, I don't have an exact number, but I can tell you off the top of my head for the Family Fun Night Thursday, we had around 200 people in the grandstand.
Okay.
And Friday night was the demo derby. That was full. There was people standing on the grass down at the bottom.
Right.
And I believe, I'm gonna say 1,000 plus.
Okay.
I never made it up to the bull riding on Saturday. I would guess they were
Very full. I was
very
there.
full.
Yep.
They were full as well.
Yeah, I would say the stands were just about full. There wasn't people standing, but
Okay.
yeah, the stands were very
But there was at least elbow room.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yep, but it was a good turnout.
Yep. And then on Sunday afternoon for the truck and tractor pull, I guess there was 500 people there in the grandstand.
Okay.
Can,
So you guys using different colors then for different events, or are you using the same tickets like they used to?
Nope, it's wristbands and different colors for each event. And people that pay to get in the grandstand get a different color wristband from the ones that go to the pits.
Okay, all right,
That's-
thanks.
is there maybe a way that you could think of to keep track of numbers? Because so like you said, grandstands is one color, everyone in the pit is one color, drivers are a different color, just to keep everything apart. I'm learning.
Yeah, well, I think it's for like one ticket, whatever the event is, and you're gonna have a different color for the pits. So if you hand out 100 tickets in the pits,
Or
you got 100 people.
armbands.
Yeah, there aren't bands, that's
or-
why I'm trying to figure out how we
Oh,
could,
But you also, you know, like, I know when we used to buy, it used to be 1,000 a box, or 2,000, or whatever, you
Right.
know.
Then you
should be
count the
able-
remaining, whatever you have left.
okay,
Yep.
okay.
If you
I've
order
put
it,
armbands on and it's,
Yeah.
you screw up on some of them times. Sometimes people, it's too tight, so you take it off and put another one on them. So that's gonna be a tough count too.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna be that many off, but it'll be some off.
No.
Any other questions, comments, commissioners?
Only challenged me, so I'm gonna keep quiet.
That's what it takes, huh?
Sure brings people out too.
Yes, and that was one thing I didn't mention in here either, but that has brought people out.
There's a lot of people in that event center, that band was playing, you know, all through the corn feed and after and everything. It was full, packed in there, and there was a lot of people in there.
Yep. I think in general this year, my consensus was there wasn't as many people walking through the cattle barn. I spent a lot of time down there, and I don't think I seen as many as normal years. If that was due to COVID, they didn't want to go indoors more or what, but that was just something I had came up with.
I think the thing I look at and go by from past years and just kind of general notice like you do, parking out on the streets and stuff was huge this year.
Okay.
I mean, they were a long ways away.
Yes.
They were 2 blocks away.
Yep.
Whether that's a real judge or not, I don't know that either, but.
Right.
It's the most cars I've seen there for a long time.
Yep. The little things like that you keep track of year
Yeah,
to
it's
year.
just something you notice.
Yep.
The rodeo, now, you had them do their own event this year versus other years the county was, how did that turn out? Pros, cons?
We haven't heard anything.
You have not, okay.
No, we have not, I guess.
I mean, you brought a lot more people on the fairgrounds, so you gained on,
Right. Probably would have been the year to do it ourselves. We could have potentially made some money, but
And I
It is what
disagree,
it is.
But I do, but that's just me.
yeah,
The rodeo's never been,
no,
no, it's always been pain to have it there.
yeah.
So,
but it does draw a crowd.
it does draw a good crowd, a dang good crowd.
Okay. And the Demo Derby sounded like it was really,
There
Good this year.
there were 90-plus cars, but that's not just demo cars, that's where they race from the truck.
Autocross.
The autocross.
okay.
So, I mean, yeah, it was a great year, but, you know, no one was able to do anything last year.
Yeah,
Right.
I think the real test is gonna be next year. I mean, honestly, I think that's where we're gonna find our true numbers, because everyone's gonna be doing it again now for a year.
and I think we're seeing it as town events too, the number of people coming out, just because they haven't been able to do it in the past year.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Any other questions?
I just want to say that I
Yep.
was at the baseball game, and even the out-of-towners were like, oh, we're going over to your fair, where's that located at? And I was real surprised, and I was glad to hear that, and just to commend you guys on your work, and that your communication with us now has been really great this year, so thank you for that, both of you.
Yeah. Okay, there's no other questions. Thank you for coming in today.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. With that, we'll go into standing reports. Auditor Treasurer.
I have nothing to report today.
Okay, Commissioners? I guess the only thing, and I'm not gonna, we as commissioners have been receiving some input as far as broadband and where we're going to do the, what's going to be happening with the ARP funds. And at this point, we really don't know, so we'll have to continue to have conversations out there, so. Coordinator?
Madam Chair, I'll just report that I am meeting with the townships and the cities later this evening regarding the coronavirus state and local relief funds, and just talking about applying for those funds and some of the different uses, and I'm sure we will be discussing broadband as well, so.
Okay. If there's nothing more to be brought in front of the board, we will recess until August 17th. Then we'll That will open the work session. Adam, I'll let you take over.
Okay, following up from last work session, I brought the county and SWCD agreement that we were making some revisions to and reviewing because it's been many years. You guys had requested to have some time to review it. So we're back here to listen to any comments, concerns, questions, edits to it. And then depending on what's recommended, we'll kind of determine our next steps. We'd either circle back with the liaison to review it again or get it to the county attorney for review. But with that, I will just turn it over to you guys to ask questions or suggest changes to the agreement as you see it proposed in front of you.
Commissioners?
Madam Chair, I've looked through it and I have a suggestion, but I probably think it won't fly. But when we cross out the name administrator and put coordinator in there, I would like to see it and in the future, if things would change here as far as how our structure is, that we put county administrator / and or coordinator. Because in the future, if we would go to an administrator, then we would not have to go back and redo the whole wordsmithing again. It gives authority to either position when they're present. So.
Sure, without having to make continual edits. Okay.
Any other comments, commissioners?
I would agree. I think that's a good change if we can make it where it addresses both. It's just saves going back and making recorrections.
And our goal going forward to be to review this on an annual basis instead of once every 6 or 8 years. So, but yes, that
Or
saves,
annual.
that saves changing it all the time. So that's something that we could, our next step then would be to run this by the county attorney. And if he is okay with that, we'll just include that. That's a pretty minor change in my opinion.
So do we need a motion to approve it?
No, just work session.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and so we'll get,
Too short a board meeting.
Yeah, I don't, no.
it will come back around for formal adoption once the county attorney reviews it. We'll get it on the regular agenda.
Okay,
Anything else?
anybody else?
Easy enough.
And then the Soil and Water Board has already seen this and
Yep.
approved it, and they're ready to have it go on.
Only the liaison,
Oh.
it'll be on the agenda for this meeting on the, just like it's been brought to you, it'll be on. the
Yeah,
agenda.
it'll be on their Thursday meeting,
Yeah.
and then after they approve it, then it would go on to the county attorney then.
Yep.
Okay,
All right. Thank you.
good, thank you.
Are you ready for me?
Yes, we are ready.
We're at that time of year again. It's the preliminary 2022 budget, 2022 levy discussion. The Finance Committee has been working very diligently this past few months. I did give you paper copies. I'll kind of go through what we have done. Our key factors that we were looking at, of course, is our big discussion was financial effects that COVID-19 will bring in the upcoming years, because it's an unknown. We don't know. We've been getting CARES Act money. Now it's going to be ARPA money, and how much of this funding is helping along, but also hindering, because we don't know the unforeseens. We did know that we were in open contract year with unions, because we only had a 1-year contract last year, so that was another key point. We have health insurance and our capital building improvement projects that we've talked about in the past, our solid waste, our public works, just our various facilities around here that Mitch has projects for and keeps us in tune with the facilities committee, and then our rock wall project. Some of the timelines, you were given weekly updates whenever we had a meeting. I think those minutes that we send you are excellent because it keeps you all abreast of what is going on, but this is a short timeline for those that aren't aware. March 16th, we reviewed the fourth quarter budget from last year to see where our numbers ended out the year. We had a discussion on what we thought some of our budget factors moving on to 2022 would be. And the finance committee established our schedule, because it's kind of good to keep a schedule to know where we're going and to stay on track. April 26th, we then did have an update of our current financial situation due to COVID and the new American Rescue Plan federal funding opportunity. We had discussions on that. We set some goals for what we were gonna look at, and then we did a status update of where we were at for our 2021 tax collection progress. May 19th rolled around, and that's about the time we dispersed all the budget sheets to various county departments, so they could get working on them. They were instructed where we were at and what we were looking for at our department head meeting, keeping them abreast of everything. Round one is when we actually held our reviews with certain departments that we had called in, or we kind of went through everybody's. Those were held June 2nd and June 9th. At that point in time, we were looking at a total budget of 3.86% increase from last year, and that was as of June 28th, with a net levy of, I can't hardly even see this myself, maybe I should enlarge it a little. 6.75 is where we were at from the previous year at the end of June. The finance committee had some suggestions for adjustments, and we went through everything line item by line item. We brought those back to the finance committee. Myself and Jolene had went through everybody's budget just to see where we looked at that 4-year study again, what they actually were budgeting, what they actually were spending, and if they could make any additional cuts. And where we did find, I think we came up with about $33,000 of potential cuts, and the department heads were willing to do those cuts. So that saved on the end number. Round two rolled around with the departments, and on the dates listed below, we reviewed with those departments again, July 14th, 20th, and 26th. July 26th is when we finally came up with the total net budget of a 1.08 increase. We thought that was an excellent number for our budget to only increase by a little over 1%, especially, like I said, coming off the COVID and not knowing what we're going to anticipate. We were pretty proud of that. Oh, I think I went too fast. Maybe not. So in our next slide, you'll see the actual preliminary budget. The first line items either show an increase or a decrease, and then in yellow it shows the total budget amount of 1.8. And then the program aid was awarded to us, and then we come down to the local levy amount. So we're looking at right now that our local levy would be a 3.65% increase, but is much better than the almost 7% we started off with in June. So we made some great strides there. What we're looking at now moving forward is, I'm presenting this today for you to look at. If you have any questions or any additional ideas of where we can trim, we'd be happy to look at those. But currently we're looking at presenting the 3.65 levy increase from last year to balance the budget for 2022. Just a side note that in 2021, you did use $350,000 of fund balance to help reduce the levy burden. The finance committee kind of talked about that option, and it's something you can look at the final, but right now we didn't want to do any offsetting. We want to keep our fund balances where they're at because we're seeing other revenue losses in general. Of course, obviously, you know, a year ago I was probably making 2.65 on CDs, and I'm getting like 0.2 now. So, I mean, we all know that even in our private life that we're seeing drastic changes in the economy. So we did not suggest using at this point in time any fund balance. Looking ahead, we know the CPA could be reduced significantly in 2023. We don't know that yet. There is talks that could all change. Again, like I said, we're getting funding left and right now, but who knows where all that's going to end up in the future. So we're just kind of being proactive instead of having to be reactive. Legislative proposals may create unfunded mandates. We don't know. That's an unknown as well. And then, again, back to the COVID, we don't know what its financial implications are going to be in years to come. And so, what's next is, we'll schedule county, well, the work session is now, and then we'll bring it to county board on the 7th to approve the preliminary. Again, this is the preliminary. You can always work down from this for the final. And then at that time, on the 7th meeting, we'll also set the budget, the levy, and then the TNT date, time, and location. Like I said, this stuff we've been sending to all commissioners at the end of each financial meeting, just to keep you abreast of what we've been doing, what we've talked about. And then we've attached with you the backside of the sheet would be the actual net budget by department comparison. And that would show the increases and decreases for each budget. Anybody have any questions or comments or ideas?
I do, Madam Chair, on the buildings, I see, if I'm reading this correctly, we're reducing the buildings by, is it 85,000? Does that, what is our fund in the capital improvement now? Is it gonna decrease that fund, or are we gonna maintain a certain fund level in there?
He continues to put money aside for all the building projects that he has, but we're looking at some of that ARPA money to help with one of his projects he was going to do this year. So he felt that he could take that reduction and not affect his budget at all.
Have we received that money yet?
No, I'm still in the works in that. I just talked to the Treasury and I've talked to our contractor. The holdup on this, and Chris has found out from other townships as well, is everybody has established a DUNS number. And when we got the money through CARES Act, it came through the state of Minnesota. So all they did is they ran the money through them and dumped it in our accounts. This is a different scenario. We're working with the feds. The feds want everything to match down to the thread. And so if you had a DUNS number, maybe in 1987, and this is where I think our problem is we changed building locations year after year. We were here, and then we were there, and then we were
different
here.
addresses.
So we have a different address out in the DUNS world. So they have to verify that we are who we are, and then that DUNS number has to go back to the SAMS.gov organization and be registered there. So this has been a long and arduous process. I have talked to numerous people. I've got a notepad full of every time I talk to somebody, dated, documented, and who I talked to. I was told last week now that our DUNS number has been verified, but it has to follow the SAM.gov registration, and once they sign off of it, then I go back to the ARPA funds and I resubmit probably for a third or fourth time, because it's still sitting in a pending status. But the money is there, it's guaranteed for us, but we have to jump through all these hoops before the feds will release it.
Okay.
They haven't printed it yet.
Yeah, well, yeah. Then, in the budget, talks, have we considered our MCIT dividend and things like that?
Yes, we have taken all that
Other
into.
revenues coming
Yep.
in? Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Yes, Madam Chair.
I thought you were.
I just want to thank the Finance Committee and everybody for working hard to get this budget down where it should be. My only concerns is it goes back to the assessor with everything going stupidly crazy out there as far as pricing, how that's going to affect this. I mean, we can sit here and say, yeah, we're going to put the levy at 3.65 or whatever, and then when the tax statements go out and somebody gets a 20% increase on their taxes, it makes us look like idiots, so.
That's the unknowns we don't know.
Exactly.
And that's kind of hard for us to take into, I mean, we look at that, but that's the unknowns, sorry. We don't have answers for that.
But that's what
Neither
comes
does
back,
Chris.
it always comes back to bite us in the butt,
I know.
because we sit here and everybody busts their butt to get the levy down as far as we can, and tax statements come out, and
Just how the market trends. It's, you know, it's a roller coaster. If you have a good year, a bad year.
Stupid out there right now for what
Oh,
people are
yes.
buying stuff for, so, yeah,
Very active market.
Very active market, yes.
that's all I have.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
I just want to thank all the department heads. They really came through.
Yes.
Whenever we found something that we could reduce, we visited with them and they were willing to make the cuts. And then we even had our HHS department, kudos to them. They had already came in with a below budget and we were just joking with them. And next thing you know, they emailed us and they found another $50,000 in grant money. They were gonna offset our revenues, so good job to them.
Yeah.
Everybody worked very well on this.
Yeah, it's been interesting to go through line by line, budget by budget, yeah. I'd like to thank the committee also, of Rod and Denise and Jolene and Chris, and, yeah.
Well, there's one other thing I would like to
Okay.
add onto this. I would still like to see us put the elected officials' salaries and set them before we set the preliminary. But that's just my thoughts on it, so.
Well, they are listed in here.
Douglas,
so-
Douglas County will be doing that, I believe, in the next week or two. We'll be setting their elected official salaries, so, before their preliminary comes out, so.
Madam Chair, if I can just add to that, that would, again, that's just what we have within our policy, so that would be a policy change if that's something the board wishes.
Or, if I may, Madam Chair, have we started negotiations yet, or
We have
any
not.
notices?
Nope, we have not,
Nothing.
and have not received notices as of yet.
August already, and they're not,
Yeah, that's another unknown.
how's that work into the budget then, if we don't?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Kircher, we're waiting on our insurance numbers, and then that typically, once we have that information, we have the full information to start those negotiation talks.
And we should be getting those insurance numbers shortly.
Yep, August 19th is the meeting.
Any further questions? If not,